This episode of Uzo Talk is brought to you by Meet the Greek. From the traditional souvlaki and kodosouvli to seafood, house-made dips, and delicious variations on the classics, Meet the Greek is the perfect place to get a true taste of Greece. Visit meetthegreek.com.au or call 02 9597 5062 to make a booking. Meet the Greek, proud sponsors of the Uzo Talk podcast.
Sound is.
Nick Athanasiou, we are one episode away now from finishing season 4 of the podcast. And mate, I have been looking forward to this episode for a really long time because we've been talking to this particular guest camp for a little bit of time now, and it's always been about trying to line up availability and where everyone is in the world. Part of the reason why is because it's in a very interesting, it's a sport that I love and have always loved. So, mate, I am very excited about this one. How about you?
Yeah, well, that's all you talk about when you ring up in the morning. You talk about F1, do you see what's happening, to hear what's happening. I'm actually a big fan now, would you believe?
I've converted you, haven't I?
You have. I was a big fan in the 80s and 90s with Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost and all those guys.
Yep.
And went through Schumacher era.
Yep.
And it dropped off for me. But listening to you and your stories and having one of our boys, Piastri, in there, it's I'm back on board again. And
Absolutely.
Now we got our guest as well. We're doubly back on board.
Absolutely. And look, mate, there is nothing better. I mean, the sound of Formula One has changed over the years, but, mate, I could go to sleep listening to a V10, a naturally aspirated engine from the early 2000s through to, 2010s or so. Mate, that is absolute mint. But anyway, I digress. We're excited. I can't contain my excitement. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce our guest to you, right?
Definitely.
Okay, so our guest today is someone who is vying to become the first female Formula One Grand Prix driver, having spent 2025 in the prestigious F1 Academy for Tag Heuer, operated by high-tech TGR. An amazing effort, given she's just 18 years of age. Growing up in a family where going fast was normal, she first found her love for racing at just 6 years old, watching her mum compete in go-karting. It didn't take long for her to jump into the driver's seat herself, though, earning podiums and winning the Australian Ladies Trophy in 2021, before representing Australia at the 2022 Motorsport Games in France. In 23, she was selected for the Alpine Race Her Academy, RACHER Academy, and moved with her family to the UK to chase her racing dream. Last year, she made the step into single-seaters, finishing 10th in the Indian F4 Championship and gaining even more experience in the Formula Winter Series. As her last name suggests, mate, she's one of our own. Nick is a proud Greek-Australian who does have other cultural influences in her background as well, but in our eyes, she's 100% Greek, mate. So, joining us in the virtual distillery from Melbourne today is Aiva Anagnostiadis. Welcome to Uzo Talk.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Great to have you here.
It's
And,
fantastic to have you here.
mate, we haven't had any, like you said, Tom's really excited. We can't wait to start talking to you about motor racing. We've never had one in the 4 years we've been on, have we, Tom?
No, we haven't. And so this is a first for us. We've had rugby league players on, we've had footballers, we've had all sorts of things. Things start getting serious now, don't they?
They do. No, fantastic. We just got some sponsors before we kick off. So massive thank you to Bay Vista Dessert Bar and Cafe.
Yes.
What's their motto, Tom? Stressed, spelled backwards, is desserts. Did you know that?
Is that right? Is that legit?
That's their motto. Well, that's what I saw on one of their boards. So they're at Brighton, Les Sands and Parramatta. So I go to the chockberry pancake every time I'm there, mate. It's fantastic.
I mean, you can't go past an Inca Gold, but I don't know, Ava, are you allowed to be eating that sort of stuff? The giant ice creams and whatnot?
Not really, but sometimes I do.
Yeah.
Well, Ava, next time you're in Sydney, we'll take you up there.
Absolutely.
We've got some
Definitely.
vouchers for you. It's fantastic. Can't go wrong.
All
Well, you're
right.
in the off-season now, aren't you? Technically.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Well, you're actually
Splurge.
coming off a bit of an injury now, which has given you a little bit of downtime, hasn't it?
Yeah, I created kind of my own off season, but I broke my fibula and tore all my muscles in my ankle. So, that's been difficult to deal with, obviously missing the last 2 rounds of the championship, but we've been slowly getting back, given the all clear to run now. So, we're getting there, hopefully getting back in the car soon.
Yeah, well, tell us your recovery. How was that all about? Was it gym work? Was it physios twice a day? How was that process?
Initially, before they actually went in for I had a screw put in. So it's like a 4 centimeter long screw. Yeah, 4 centimeters long. And they initially were going to put it in. They said 2 weeks, you're going to be back you'll be fine.
2
And
weeks,
then-
it's pretty quick.
Yeah. And then they went in for the operation, and afterwards he goes, we've had to sew all your muscles back together.
Wow.
This is going to be a longer process than we thought. Then when we heard that, we were like, okay, 6 weeks, we'll be back. We might miss the test, but Vegas, we're on. We were not on.
Wow.
It's still recovering. I had to wear heels the other night at an event, and I'm not supposed to do that for 6 months, and now it's swollen again. So, it's taking its time, and now we're at the point where December, it's kind of, my strength is back. It's just getting that kind of longevity of that strength rehabbed and making sure I got full movement. So then it is an injury that can happen again. So we just don't want that.
Yeah.
And obviously being my braking pedal, you've got to put a lot of force on that foot. So it's getting there. It's getting a lot better, but it was for 3 weeks, I was at the physio back to back every single week. They're really good at where I was going. I had a MotoGP clinic help me out. They were great. Obviously, they know what they're doing with the amount of bones they have broken in there every week. So they helped me out, got me going. And then once we kind of knew that we were pushing for Vegas, and then it got 1 or 2 weeks out, and they were like, it's still, I couldn't walk properly still. So we were like, well, this is obviously not really going to happen. And then we backed off the physio a bit, and I started working at the go-kart track. So obviously I was on my feet all day, and I think that's actually helped the recovery quite a bit, just being on my foot, because it is one of those injuries. If you stop doing everything, it will tighten up.
Yeah.
So I've had to just keep going and trying to make it move as much as possible.
Well, it's good to hear that you're on the mend now, and you'll be back bigger and stronger than ever next year, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean,
is that a common thing for drivers to have broken bones and stuff? Because is there a count of how many pins each driver has? Is that something with your experience?
Well, I've got 2, but mine are not from the cars.
Oh,
One's an electric scooter and one's running. So I think it just depends on how clumsy the driver is.
So you're safer in the car.
Yeah, I am safer in the car. Definitely.
Well, before we get
stuff.
too deep into this episode, let's have a drink. What do you reckon?
Definitely. Let's have a drink.
Stiniyamas.
Cheers. Welcome, Ava.
All right, Ava, welcome. And you are 18 now, so you can drink. You're not drinking today, obviously. You're in recovery. But Nick, what are we drinking today, mate?
We are having the 35N. We're back to the 35N Ouzo.
Can't go wrong.
Have we missed it? We've missed it, haven't we?
We have.
We've had
It's
it
good
for a while.
stuff.
It's quality stuff. And have you had an Ouzo before, Ava? I believe you have.
I have. I was in Greece on my 18th, so, I kind of had to.
Fantastic. What part of Greece were you at?
I went to Lefkada with
beautiful.
my best friend's family, so they had me there for a week. It was awesome.
Wow.
That's a
It's one of my
beautiful-
favourite island.
Beautiful side of Greece, isn't it, Nick?
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
I had only been to Santorini before. So my auntie got married there. So we went there, I think, back in 2018, and I've been wanting to go ever since. And then I went back and I was like, I can live here. I could definitely live here. I'm out of Italy. I'm in Greece.
Fantastic. Great. Well, look, just on that, so where are your ancestors from? Is it your parents or your grandparents were from Greece and other parts of the world?
My dad's side is Greek. So his mum and dad are both Greek. And they were born in Australia, but my big yaya and big papa come from Greece.
Oh, do you know what part of Greece, by any chance?
Kos,
Kos.
and I think Sparti or somewhere.
Wow,
around
you're a
there.
Spartan.
Yeah.
There you go.
Fantastic.
Well, that's similar to our man Foti.
Actually, he is, mate, he is that
Foti's
mix,
from
isn't he?
Kos and he's from near Sparti. Wow. We're
Could
going
be
to
related.
Could be
Might be
related.
related, yeah.
Foti Papoulis, there's one for you, my friend.
There you go, mate.
Well, his daughter's a really good soccer player, so
Yeah, the genetic. Yeah,
the
there's good
athletic
gene,
genetics
in there.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes sense.
definitely.
Yeah, and what's your mum's side?
Mum is Italian, she's Sicilian and Roman.
Ah, Cecilia. Okay.
So
well,
Greek.
do we claim that as Greek? No.
Well,
We
they
say that
historically.
I'm the Greek child and my brother is the Italian child.
Oh, there you go.
Who is also in racing as well, isn't he?
Stay with us. We'll be right back. We're foodies at heart at Uzo Talk, which is why we love the Greek providor. Get a real taste of the very best produce that Greece has to offer. From olive oils and delicious artisan sweets, to earthy herbs, memorable wines, warming spirits and more, all made by passionate, independent farmers and producers from across Greece. So whether you're looking to fill your pantry or buy a special gift for a loved one, the Greek Providor has you covered. Visit thegreekprovidor.com.au today and bring Greece home.
Yes, so he's in the Mercedes F1 junior program. He's
Amazing.
running in the senior category this year, so he's done really well.
Wow. And how old's your brother?
14.
14. Good on
Yeah.
you.
It runs in
He
the
got
genes in this
picked up.
family.
He got picked up by Mercedes at 13, so
Fantastic.
he's doing quite well.
Good on him.
So Toto's straight onto the Anagnostiadis clan, huh?
Yeah, hopefully, all of us. That'd be nice.
It'd be good. But look, before we move on, we do need to thank as well the Greek Providor for supplying the drinks today, the Uzo. So greekprovidor.com.au. Make sure you're jumping online and checking out all of their stuff. Crystal, thank you so much for being part of this podcast since the very beginning. We love you.
She's the OG.
She's the OG. That's the new term for her. But
and
anyway,
drink responsibly.
Drink responsibly. That's right. So, I mean, we've covered off, the fact that you're Greek, Aiva. Motorsport doesn't really. It's not your typical Greek pastime or or sort of job, let's say. So how did your family first get into it? We mentioned in the intro that your mum was doing a bit of karting as well.
So her dad bought a go-kart back when she was around 11 or 12. It was his for about a week, and then it turned into hers. And my dad and mum have known each other quite a while. So he was a mechanic before, and then at 15, he was mechanicking for her at the track.
Wow.
So they grew up at the track together, obviously got married, had kids, stopped racing. And then Dad bought her old go-kart back when I was around 6.
Oh, wow.
At the time, I was dancing, swimming, doing other things. They didn't really watch motorsport at home. Like, it was kind of like it was just switched off. And then all of a sudden, it just come back. Mum was at the track every weekend. And obviously, me and my brother were there too. Her dad was there as well, my nonno. And all I can remember is being at the track every weekend. And then I obviously got interested, wanted to try it out. Then Dad was like, okay. So he bought me a little go-kart, had a go, and never stepped out of it.
I mean, we see the footage. I don't know if you've seen it, Nick, but we've seen footage of Sebastian Vettel, for example, at 4 years old, doing donuts in a go-kart. Is that what you were like?
Oh, well, I did a donut into the wall straight out the gate. They actually were going to send me out with like 50% throttle because obviously dancing, being a girl, they were like, oh, we're going to take it easy. We don't know. I went out the gate. They forgot to put the half throttle on. I went out the gate. It was actually the same track Oscar grew up at, Piastri. Wow. Oakley Go-Kart Club was my first track. And you go around turn 1, it's a fast sweeper, and turn 2 is a fast sweeper too. I made it around the first one flat, second one straight into the wall, into the fence. So that was great.
Thinking?
They realized that they forgot to do it once I got through the first one, and they saw me going 100 k's an hour straight out the gate. So,
jeez. And what did you say? This is unreal.
Yeah, afterwards I was yelling at them because they forgot to do it, but then I was like, don't bother, like, just keep me going.
They probably did you a favor, really, because it was like, okay, well, this is the standard now.
Yeah, just get all the nerves out, just go straight in the fence. All right, you good? Keep going.
Fantastic. Yeah, fantastic. So 6 years old, you started to, when was your first race?
Back then, you couldn't race till you were 7 here. So I had to wait a year, did a bit of practice, and then my first race, I was 7.
Okay, and then did you start to realise, hey, I'm quite good at this? When did you start
I got better at the start. It took me a while, and then I got to around 7 or 8, and we started to get better. And I danced. I was competitively dancing and swimming till I was around 11, and I was go-karting. So I was doing a lot. And then I had national championships in Queensland for dancing. And on the same weekend, I had a club race at Todd Road on the Sunday. My national championships finished on Saturday night, but I had obviously to be there for the team. And for me to win this club championship, I had to make qualifying on Sunday morning. So I won the 2 national championships in dance on Saturday.
Fantastic.
I think I was 8 years old, flew a red-eye Sunday morning to Todd Road, got in my suit in the car, got ready, ran to the grid as soon as we pulled up, got in the go-kart, and then won the club championship that weekend. Wow. And afterwards, my dad and mum dragged me to the front of the trailer, like, all right, we're not doing this again, pick something. And I think they were they were assuming I was going to pick dancing. And I sat there going, no, I want to race go-karts. So I threw dancing out the window and I was at the track every weekend.
Far out. Go. How good's that?
That was it.
I mean, I got to ask you though, like going from the dancing to the to the racing. I mean, in that time period, mentally, how do you switch from one to the other?
I don't really know. I think I was obviously off with the fairies as red eye at 8 years old in the morning, but somehow it worked. I think I put it on like P2. I just ran to the grid. Yeah. So yeah, it wasn't bad. I think I just, amazing. All right, I'm at the track now. Dancing's done.
Fantastic.
And I freak out when Philip, my little bloke, he goes from a rugby league game to a soccer game. I mean, you're doing two completely different ends of the spectrum here, competitively.
No, look, it's normal. My kids were doing water polo, surf life saving, rugby league. So they had to pick a sport in the end.
Yeah,
so I guess it's normal as a young kid. That's the beauty about us, you got so many options now, and we got parents that we're happy to. Well, we never grew up with that. I really had rugby league and had to make my own way there, but it's good to see that your parents were very open minded and got you in these great sports.
Yeah, it's always been whatever you guys like. Whatever we want to do, and they're going to support us 100%. Unfortunately, both their kids chose one of the most expensive sports there is, but
that's what I was going to say.
At the end of the day, we love doing it, so...
It sounds like you're good at it.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, in order to be part of this, many people don't realize, I mean, this is a sport that requires a lot of money to be able to do it properly. Even at a karting level, I mean, you're talking about tires, you're talking fuel, you're talking time on track, transport between tracks and whatnot. How expensive is it, and how big a commitment is it to be able to do this as a sport?
For us growing up, we raced in Australia, so Europe to Australia budget-wise, it's quite big of a difference. Obviously, over there's more karters, more championships, more money in the sport because it's just a bigger community. Instead of 400 entries that we'd normally have in Australia, there's probably double that in Europe for a race meet. So everything obviously is going to double in price. Karting level, when we went overseas, initially we were like, holy moly, this is big. But you never really understand the car's budget till you're there. Once we stepped into cars and started testing, and we were like, holy moly, this is really expensive. We're going to have to really budget this because we don't have that much money. Like my brother is supported obviously by Mercedes, and then with me, we had the Alpine Race Her program, but now we're kind of just trying to get sponsorship and do it all ourselves. And when you sit down and try and compete with the kids in Europe who have those massive budgets, instead of me that can do 10 test days, the guy next to me is doing 150, and it's like, when it gets into a car, that's where kind of the separation works, and when you can't race up there with them because they're in the car every week and you've been out for 8 weeks and expected to just perform on that one race weekend. So it does get difficult, and the budgets just go from here to up there.
See, this is one of the things that I really want to talk about, because the chasm between our understanding, I mean, you and I were having this discussion earlier in the year, the trajectory from going from karting through to Formula One or into any of the formulas, basically. It's almost a foreign concept that some of these drivers pay for their seats to be, to be here. We're very much of the thought that if you're good enough, you're going to make it. It's not really the case in this sport, is it? You've got to be,
definitely not.
You've got to be good, but you've got to have some backing too.
Yeah, and when you don't have that backing, it's a bit unfortunate because you could have as much talent as you can in the world. You could be better than everyone on that racetrack. But if you're doing a quarter of the amount of practice the other guys are doing, seat time matters. So if you can't get that seat time while the others are, you're going to fall behind, and it's just the way it is. And it's a sad part of the sport because money is just turning into kind of winning and people buying seats, places, and it's just instead of having the talent come through, like there are people that are, even though they've got the money, the kids are unreal and they're really good drivers, but then you've got those people where they can't afford it, but their kids are amazing and could probably be Formula One drivers next week. But it's motorsport these days, I guess.
again, in terms that us buffheads understand, like in rugby league and football terms and whatnot. For someone like yourself, Ava, it's like you either not having an off season, not being allowed to train, being dropped into the car on a race weekend and say, go.
Yeah, that was pretty much our F1 Academy season. Like, I didn't have the best season I probably wanted to. I wasn't where I wanted to be, but I wasn't able to test all year. So some race, I think, between Montreal and Zandvoort, I had about 8 to 9 weeks out of the car, and I jumped straight into a Grand Prix. And they're like, all right, you got one FP1 and you're into qualifying. And it's like you go in and you're already mentally, it's hard to switch that off, that you're going to be on the back foot compared to the rest of the grid, because they've been racing British F4 or they've been testing for 3 weeks. And it's just, that's where the hard part kind of turns.
I mean, is one practice enough to get your seat right?
I mean, maybe if the car, like you're relying on the car working, you're relying on everything being good for that 40-minute practice. And I know 40 minutes sounds like a lot, but we do about 10 laps, stop, and we do another 10 laps. And it's like conditions, tires, weather, if it's, say, like Montreal or street circuit, we haven't tested there. Yeah. And I've never, ever been there before. So you've got one 40-minute session to work out what you're doing. Hopefully you've done enough prep beforehand. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a lot tougher than the others that have been just driving around every weekend. Is
the most that you can sort of do in your downtime like sim work, or are you literally playing PlayStation to learn the tracks and do all that sort of thing?
I'm literally on a PC just trying to learn the tracks. And when you're doing the simulator work, you're hoping the track is up to date, which some tracks that we went to, the graphics aren't right, or the corners aren't exactly the same. Nothing's going to be identical to when you get onto that track. Like, you can't feel the car, you can't feel the track surface. Like, there's so many things that line up to how you're going to drive, how you're going to reserve your tires if the track is quite degrading. And there's all these things that you can't learn to do on a simulator, say like new tire runs and stuff. There's kids that are doing laps that get to do 50 new tire runs in a month.
Wow.
And I get to do it in qualifying. So there's that practice which you need the budget to be able to test to do, and even to be able to race another championship, to race against different people, to get your racecraft good. Like, there's so much money behind, getting a good result these days. It's a bit annoying, to be honest.
Yeah. And I mean, to your point about the differences from the sim to, to real life, I can vouch. I'd walked Albert Park after I think it was the 2012 Grand Prix. This is after years. This was my first time at the Grand Prix. I'd been playing PlayStation for years thinking, yep, I know everything about this. The second you walk the track, you're seeing things that just can't be reproduced, like the inclines, the gradients, where the grip on the track is, where the racing line is, all of that stuff. It is completely different. So I guess it really emphasizes how important that time on track is, Ava.
Yeah, and especially for us in F1 Academy. So we race on the same weekends as the F1s. So your traditional race lines, say on a track like Zandvoort, when we actually got to test there the week before, which was great. But our race lines ended up changing, because if we're not on that Formula One line, you're not going to have the grip. We don't race enough to be able to lay as much down as we need. So then you've got to adapt over the weekend to what the F1s are doing and the lines that they're taking. But when that's at a street circuit that you've never been before, you've been on the sim doing a certain race line, and then the F1s rock up and they're like, no, this is the line you've got to take. You're like, okay, now I've got to relearn everything all over again. Thanks for that. And also, we don't have video or footage on a race weekend because it all belongs to Formula One. So to learn something straight away, obviously your second year is going to be stronger because you'll get to go to those tracks again. But it's just those little things of being a rookie without being able to, put everything forward. It's hard.
Yeah. Look, just back on your training when you're doing your laps, how much of it is the look and feel of it, which you can't really get on a simulator? Like, my understanding, you'd have to have really good sensors, and how would you communicate that to your engineer and say, look, the car's doing this, it needs that? Is that all part of your
track
testing?
To simulator? Like, I do most of my sim work at home. I'll probably go to the team for maybe we do it the week before we leave to go to the race meet. It's mainly just doing laps to get the stuff right. We don't have the setup stuff on our team, but through the wheel at home. Like if you have a good sim, you can kind of feel what the car is doing. It's because obviously you got the force feedback on the wheel. So just trying to work out what the car would do through that corner if the rear comes out or something. Obviously you can't feel it like through your body, but you can feel what you need to feel through the wheel in a way, if that makes sense.
Wow.
And then on the track, you know, you go out there and you go, okay, you got to explain to them what the car's doing, what the car's not doing, what you need it to do while you're trying to learn the track. So, you know, it's hard.
What physical attributes do you think you'd say you need to be a good driver? Does height matter as well? Because
you can't be too tall. You can't be too tall. Obviously, we all kind of train all the time, so you got to keep. We're going to make weights, so it's like being a boxer, but we got to maintain that low weight the whole year. So that's great. You're in the gym 24/7. I think as a female, we're in the gym more. I've noticed with my brother, obviously, he's hitting that 15, 16 age, and he just woke up one day and he was just as strong as me, and I've been in the gym for 2 years. So
are you
more
talking
than
about
2 years.
upper body strength or legs?
Upper body, core, legs, everything. As a female, we have to train double as hard to be able to. Men have got that testosterone that we don't have. So we have to put a bit more in to kind of be on the same level as the boys, and racing on an F1 weekend where the rubber is going to be heavier than it would at a normal F4 championship. So therefore you have to be stronger again. There is a lot of physical attributes, I think, to what the girls have to race instead of what the guys would have to do.
Yeah. Is there any type of reflex exercise you can do? Because I feel like you guys do things so quick.
Cat-like reflexes.
I have a mental coach. So I used to have one in Australia and now I had one over in Europe. And first you talk about like the headspace you want to go into the race in and how you're going to be prepared and switched on, so then your reflexes are at the 100% level. And then they do sometimes have lights, so we do reflex practice. Even before you're going out, you're doing tennis balls, throws. I think if you've seen some of the drivers, how fast that they do it and the drops and everything. If you get like someone normal to do those, the tennis balls are going this way, that way. Like you've got to mentally warm up your mind to be able to get in, we call it kind of the green zone, where you're just in this space where, say, before the lights go out, you've got 20 engines revving their heads off before they go out, but you can't hear anything. Like you're in this zone where everything's just quiet. So then when those lights do go out, you're straight away on it, and it's just racing from there. If you're on that grid and you're not in that zone, you know it's just not going to end well, because you're sitting there and you're like, you can hear everything, you feel everything, and in that split second you've got to just try and turn it on. But it is something that a lot of drivers work on behind the scenes, of just working with their mental coach to be able to get in that mindset, because if you're not in the right mindset, it's 50% of your race just gone.
I mean, your neck strength now. I mean, the F1 Academy is what, the equivalent of F4 or similar?
Yeah.
So what sort of G are we talking about in corners now? I mean, we know everyone's heard what it's like in a Formula One car. You know, you do 2 laps in a Formula One car and it feels like your head's going to come off eventually.
Yeah. We do train our neck. I have to train my neck. You train your neck every second day. So, you know, our necks are quite strong. I think we get around 2 or 3, say around a sweeping corner G. For me, the neck, if you do laps on laps on laps, your neck's fine. Obviously through karting, it gets quite strong because you don't actually have any of that support there. You don't have the Hans device, which kind of holds you in a bit. I went back into a go-kart a couple of months ago and I was cooked after it. And then I got back in the car and I was like, this is just, you're strapped in. So in an F4, I wouldn't say it's the hardest thing on your neck. Obviously, we do train it. You do have to pull around 30 kilos. Like the average, I think, is around 30, 35 kilos, just when you're getting the other guy to tug on your head. But as you go through the ranks, then it gets harder and harder and harder. And you have to, I think some of the guys can just you can put your head on a chair and be in a plank on the side and hold yourself up with your head. And you just, like, someone will be holding your head and you got to go all the way down and back up and you're just relying on your neck support. It is a really weird muscle to work, but I do it at the gym and people are looking at me like, what is she doing? But I think it's around 2 or 3 G, I think.
That's crazy.
Wow.
So do you have like a pre-race ritual that you do now that you don't want to change?
Get up in the morning, Breakfast has to be kind of the same every day.
What do you eat? What's an example of a breakfast?
If we're at a hotel, it varies, but it's like eggs and then just carbs.
Okay.
Like,
and heaps of water, like hydration.
Hydration from the get-go. You wake up, you have one. Yeah. I think on the package, it's like 2 a day recommended dose. And you just see all of us like having 5 a day, 6 a day, just smashing these electrolytes. Because the amount that we sweat in the cars is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then I'll get to the track. I probably put one AirPod. I have my AirPods in nearly all day. So I have one in, just playing music while I'm in the car, get to the track, talk to the engineers about kind of what the run plan is, say for the first practice, what we're going to do, how many pit stops we're going to do, tires, all that kind of stuff. Then it's just kind of waiting. Car racing, there's a lot of waiting. I think between one race I had about 8 hours. So, it varies. You get your schedule and you kind of work out what you're going to do. Obviously being at a Grand Prix and we have access to the paddock. So sometimes we go just wander around for a couple of hours. But yeah, we'll just get ready, get my suit on, go out the back where no one can see, put both headphones in, and I do my warm-up. Has to be kind of the same order. But if something goes bad, I'll switch something because it's like that's the reason why something went bad.
So give us an example. What your warm-up would be? Is it your shoulders, your leg? Do you touch your toes?
Stretching, all different types of stretching, bands, neck harness pulls, and then in the morning I do skipping quite a bit just to get me awake. Otherwise, I'm like a zombie.
Yeah. Are you into coffee yet or not really?
Yes and no. Depends on the day. Okay. I do have it, but sometimes more than others. Skipping, and then I'll just put my headphones in and go. We have a little box that we get changed and everything in with our chairs and our tables and stuff. And I just sit there with my headphones in. I think a couple of times I played Block Blast before I get in Tetris.
Yeah.
And then they're like, all right, time to get in the car, take my headphones out and go get ready. I do have to put certain gloves on first. Okay. My boots are suffocating my feet. If they're not and I'm in there, it's not good. I do a lot. Feet taps, right glove before left.
Sure.
Same order getting ready, put the right earbud in before the left. It's just, yeah.
Full-blown superstition, right?
Yeah, if something goes wrong, I used to run one white boot, one red boot, and then match the gloves because I had 2 different colored boots. And then I had a crash and I was like, okay, we're putting both the color boots, same color boots back on, the gloves can stay. If something happens, we're going full matching otherwise.
Wow.
I used to have it in a go-kart where I would do my hair in a plait before I got in and tuck it into my suit. And then if something went wrong, it changed to a ponytail. And then if something else went wrong, it changed back to a plait. And it was just like this. It was the hair's fault that something had happened. Yeah.
We've heard weirder ones. We had rugby league players that used to talk to their thighs.
Yeah, slap them.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Yeah. Classic. And so you mentioned you sweat a lot in the car. Is that because it's hot or is it just the tension? Because have you got air conditioning in there? That's probably a silly question.
No air conditioning.
Oh, you don't have aircon in there?
No, we were in Jeddah.
No cup holder.
It was,
what?
No water, no nothing. We were in Jeddah.
Straw or something? No?
Not for us. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
When we're in, where were we? Saudi Arabia.
Oof.
For Jeddah, the Grand Prix. Yeah. We had a test there and the humidity was 85% and it was 35 degrees. And obviously you're in the desert, so there's no breeze, there's nothing. We had fans and everything, but it got to the point where the fans were just blowing hot air and you're just sitting there. Before we even drove, we were just dripping sweat. And then you get out and you'd be 2 kilos lighter. You'd be 2 kilos heavier with the suit on, you'd take it off and then you'd just be 2 kilos lighter. We had 4-hour sessions, so you got to break them up and then you got to try and keep yourself hydrated for those 4 hours where you pretty much do a 30-minute, say, sprint run, come in, have 10 minutes, and then do another 30 minutes, and come in, have 10 minutes, and do another 30 minutes. It's like doing intense cardio for 30 minutes straight in 35 degrees, 25-degree humidity. We've got our undergarments, we have a race suit, we have a helmet in a cockpit this close to the ground where the sun is shining. The track got to 64 degrees, so imagine what it is in the cockpit. It was
wow. That's nearly unhealthy really hot status.
It probably was unhealthy.
So like you're
But-
sitting in a sauna, essentially.
Grip
Pretty
must have
much,
been
you
good,
dry. The grip was very good, but the driving in that heat it's something else. We have to kind of heat train for it. Obviously,
Yeah.
if I was going to Singapore, I was heat training before that. When I was on the run with my ankle, I had tracksuits on, I had a hoodie on,
Really?
though.
in
Wow.
just trying to run and get yourself used to that heat, because unless you're there, you're not going to experience the same thing. So you got to try and adjust as much as possible.
I still can't believe you don't have air conditioning in the car. Is that to do with weight? Extra weight on the car?
No, there's
or-
just no fans. There's none of
Mate,
that.
just-
Oh, I've never been here once. I'm sure. I don't know whether they'd fit everything.
I'll tell you something you might not know, Nick.
Yeah.
In a Formula One race, most drivers, if they need to go to the toilet, they'll just go, mate.
Oh, okay.
Is that true?
Yeah.
I hear that. That's
Oh, if you're that desperate, I don't know. Don't have experience with that, but yeah, I heard a couple of drivers have before.
Yeah,
The
it's funny you
mechanics would
say
not
that.
have been happy.
I think this guy was a Victorian. Remember Robert Di Castella? The
yes,
marathon
actually,
runner?
I've met him before.
Have you?
Yeah, I had a meeting with him years ago.
Well, I was watching him do a marathon. I think it was in the 80s, and he had to go and do a number 2 as he's running,
Really?
and he didn't want to stop. And all I remember was I was watching the race, and you could just see, it's a bit disgusting, but he had these blobs on his thighs. And then the commentator's saying, his muscles must be heating up because he's putting water on his legs. And he said it in the interview. He goes, no, I had to poo myself, and I was washing it all off me.
I did not expect this podcast to go down
No,
this.
sorry, just we raised the P bit. So
I think you took it to the next
I
level,
had,
though.
I had to outdo you. No,
Oh,
that's
dear.
crazy. So when you're in there, are you really squashed because it looks tiny? Like,
So you have like
are you comfortable in there?
obviously, yeah, it is quite comfortable actually. I could
Okay.
probably have a nap in there. So the top of it looks smaller than what it actually is inside, because there's a bit that. So you have the halo, and then there's the bit that goes around us, and then it's kind of open where the wheel is. Where it's open where the wheel is, that part comes off. So underneath we have all that space. And then it's kind of just your legs go down. Your legs don't have much room, obviously, because there's padding on each side, just so your legs, don't get bruised. You're flying around.
Mm-hmm.
Seat buckles, and then on each side you have your fire extinguisher underneath the seat, buttons on the side, brake bias, and then just a wheel. There's nothing else in there.
Wow. Is that fire extinguisher for you, or is it like an automatic one? Is it for you to
So there's a
use
button-
manually?
Yeah, so if there's a fire, there is a button. Say this is where the wheel is.
Yeah.
Just behind it on the sides, there's a button.
Yeah.
And if something's on fire, you press that button and you eject as fast as you can.
Wow. And eject, how what, the doors
We
open
actually
up
have-
or something?
We have to do a test. So before you're actually allowed to race, you got to unbuckle yourself, take the wheel off, get out and get back in and put the wheel back on in, I think, 7 seconds. Or I think it's,
Fantastic.
no, sorry, you unbuckle, get out, obviously take the wheel off and then put the wheel back on
Yeah.
and then obviously get out of the way, as you've got to get it in within those 7 seconds. Otherwise, you're not allowed to race because it's a safety hazard. You've got to be able to get out when it's on fire.
And is that part of you being given effectively like a license to drive in that particular series as well?
Yeah, so at the start of the championship, they go around at the test, whether it's an official test or something, and everyone's got to do it, no matter how long you've been driving.
So how fast have you gone? How fast can you go? In the cars you're in?
245 kilometers an hour is the max for us.
Okay. Is that what the car can do, or is that what you've done?
What the car
Or
can
both?
do.
What the car
I've
can
done
do.
it, but yeah, that's what the car can do.
Fantastic.
So let's talk about the F1 Academy now. I mean, for those who don't know, it's all female series, basically. And there is a series on Netflix right now, which I watched earlier in the year. Amazing, fantastic to watch. If you guys have watched Drive to Survive, this is another one you've got to get on board with. I mean, how amazing is it to have this particular series, and to be part of something like that? It's fantastic. We've never had a female in a Formula One Grand Prix. Obviously, Susie Wolff did test for Williams and whatnot in the last, I think it was the last sort of 10, 12 years or so. But
Yeah.
how special is it for you to get that sort of opportunity and a bit of a pathway?
Honestly, if I didn't have this opportunity, I wouldn't be racing this year. We just didn't have the budget, and it's so cost effective for the girls because that's kind of what we need compared to every other championship. We need that kind of support and that financial help. And obviously being on the F1 Grand Prix weekends, the media that's behind it, you don't get that in any other F4 championship. It's just unheard of. So for us, it helps get those sponsorships on board. It helps get that viewing, helps you grow your platform as a driver, especially as a female. I think that's such an important thing these days. And yeah, the opportunities where you get to travel, the whole thing, it's a whole experience, and you're learning stuff on and off track. Like before this year, media probably wasn't my best at all. And then you've just had to straight away hit Jan, and, you've got the seat and you've got to learn how to be professional and talk and deal with sponsors and take as many opportunities as you can off track as you will on track. But yeah, it's grown me not only as a driver, but definitely as a person.
Amazing. And I mean, again, we go back to the idea that, this is not a cheap sport, to be a part of. I mean, always on the lookout for sponsors to sort of back you and get on board to support you.
Yeah.
I mean, you're driving with Tag Heuer at the moment. Who's on board at the moment to sort of help you through this season? And I mean, give us an idea of what, what's actually required from a monetary perspective to do what you're doing.
So this year's, I've had Women in Construction, who's a mate of ours, and he's sponsored me for a couple of years, and he's helped us out, say, with the flights and stuff, which is a little part of how much this actually costs. We've had some good discussions in the past week or so some stuff is going on behind the scenes, but This year it's been a bit tough, without being able to do the preparation before the championship. It is hard to kind of get those. You want to get the results to be able to get the responses, and our results have been up and down all year, so it has been a bit tough. But now there's some good stuff going on, and hopefully more comes. So then we can race 2026 at our whatever we want to do. It's silly season, everything's up in the air, but yeah, sponsorship is big, and the money that you need when you approach those sponsors, I think, drops their jaws a little bit. Yeah. I think it varies for every person. Obviously, if you have the budget and you want sponsors, then it's going to change. But if you don't have the budget, you're looking at for a year's championship around €1 million.
Wow.
Obviously, not just from one sponsor, but that's kind of what you're aiming for, to be able to do the test days and do your championship well. Maybe 1.5 if you want to do it properly.
But there's obviously benefits for people to be involved as well. I mean, this is, you're talking about, call it a traveling circus, because that's what we call it, because we pop up our tents at some random place in the middle of nowhere and put them back down and go to the next joint. So it's literally a circus. But see, Formula One and, that whole thing is deemed to be such a glamorous sport and so, such a huge thing. This is, your brand is going to be out on, out on
an
track.
F1 weekend on TV, on huge. YouTube, everywhere.
Netflix.
It's massive.
Yep.
Netflix, yeah.
And F1 has sort of taken that next level over the last few years, where, I think they're probably the model for how to do it in many respects. So guys, to all our listeners, get behind Aiva for a start.
Yes,
if you can, if you're interested in motorsport in particular, if you're interested 100%. In supporting one of our own, guys, get on board. Aiva needs support. She's a great up and coming racing driver. She could be the first to get through to Formula One.
Exactly.
This would be massive.
First female, first Greek. How good would that be? Eh?
That'd be awesome.
Formula One.
Actually, we've never had a Greek in Formula One, had we? We've got an engineer. But
no driver.
No drivers.
Yeah, I had a look. I did a bit of digging around.
Did you?
Technically, there was one.
Really?
Yeah, but it doesn't sound great. His name's Andre Lotterer. He did one race in Belgium.
Yeah. When in 1950s or something?
No, 90. I didn't write the year down. Damn it. So he had he was German, Japanese, and on his mum's side there was Greek ancestry, but we're talking could have been a grandparent on his mum's side.
That's 100%
So
Greek.
I don't know, do we claim that?
I'm claiming him.
Yeah, we'll claim it.
Sure.
And he had one race in Belgium, supposedly. But apart from that, we've had a couple of testers as well. There's been a test driver, Nikolopoulos, I think his name was.
Of course it was.
Good name. No, good stuff, Aiva. Well, look, good luck with all that. And look, I'm sure it'll come. And it is a tough sport. So so you need to do all your testing first. How many people do you need in your team, roughly? Like you said earlier, you come
The
with
teams vary. So at our weekends, we have 3 engineers, a head engineer, then you have team manager, and then you have team boss, plus a main mechanic for each car. So we have 3 cars, and then you have a a mechanic that looks over everything. And yeah, that's who we have on the race weekends. Test weekends, it can change because they can bring as many people as they want. But on our race weekends, you have to have a certain amount of people for everything, and everyone's got their certain jobs. So say the team manager can't come and help out with the engineering. If that's seen by the officials, then there's a penalty applied to the race team. So they do have a number count. I'm not sure how much that changes over different championships, but for us, there's 5 engineers, a team manager, team boss, and then your 4 mechanics.
So if someone did sponsor you, where's the best place to put your logo? Like I see it on so many, on the helmet, the back, the front. Yeah.
I reckon the helmet's the best because you can kind of see it all. But then when you get out of the car, you got the race suit as well. So we're not allowed to put them on the car, I don't think. Obviously, because the cars are sponsored, say, by the F1 teams or the sponsor cars. But race suit, helmet. I like the helmet up the top because when the camera's on it, you can see it real.
Good point.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we're going to have someone out there, Tom.
Someone's got to jump on.
You've got to get your logo on Ava's helmet. What do you
I'll
reckon?
make the whole helmet the logo if they really want.
Don't sell yourself short. We might get 10 for you. Jeez.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe a good little Uzo Talk logo on the shoulder or something.
I tell you what, if we had the money to do it, 100%, we'd be first ones on. I'd be pushing you, Nick.
Yeah, definitely. No, fantastic. Well, look, good luck with all that. Look, I'm sure it's going to come through. You got a lot of talent. And how good would it be if someone sponsored you and they helped you get to Formula One? That'd be an amazing story.
Yeah, it's all part of following the journey. So
yeah. No, definitely.
Well, it's interesting now. I mean, it's great that we've got you the day that we've got you, because at the time of recording, overnight we had the Qatar Grand Prix, and Oscar Piastri, obviously our very own Australian here,
from the same go-kart track.
Yeah, so you guys started at the same. You mentioned that earlier.
Have you met him?
Yeah,
at the go-kart track.
Not at the go-kart track. When I was racing in the cadet class, which was the 7 to 10, he would be in the junior category. So he was always obviously that bit older. But we did grow up racing same championships. Even Jack Doohan, so he was there as well.
Wow.
Brock Feen, who's in the V8s, he was there as well. Everyone that was coming through, we were at the track together. So it was kind of, now that I look back at it, and you didn't know that they were going to be where they are today. So yeah, it was kind of cool growing up at the track in that era.
Cool. So was Jack Doohan in Oakley as well? Go-kart?
Yeah, so all of us raced, obviously in the Australian Kart Championship, which is national, but Oakley, Todd Road, under the Westgate, we all grew up there.
There you go. I was a massive fan of his dad.
Yeah, of course. Everyone was. Everyone was. But yeah, I mean, to see someone like Oscar, who comes from your neck of the woods as well, he's potentially one win away from being Australia's first drivers' champion since 1980. I mean, what are your thoughts and feelings about that?
I just hope the team gets their stuff sorted out so then he can come home with the win.
It's been very interesting to watch this year, hasn't it? Honestly.
I thought, it was getting a little bit boring because I was like, okay, well, it's just a Lando and Oscar fight. This is going to be it. It's going to come down to whoever does it best. And then all of a sudden Max is back and it's just like, okay, now it's getting a bit more interesting again. as it does in motorsport.
So we should thank McLaren for making it more interesting for us.
Well, I tell you what, there have been points during the year where I've been like, surely, like this feels scripted now. This couldn't go any better from a from a viewer's perspective. It almost feels like the Formula One movie to some degree. To get a finish like this.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope Oscar can do it. I hope so, because it'd be awesome.
So we've got Oscar. So Lando's leading the championship at the moment. You got Max right behind him, Oscar as well. So, there's a few things that need to happen for Oscar to get up.
He could win it. It's a long shot, but anyone can win that race. If they get DQ'd or if they maybe crash, who knows?
Yeah. Well,
imagine if they take each other out. No, we don't want that.
Never discount Max, though. I mean, Max is the real the real wild card in this now. I mean, he's come
Max just comes out of nowhere. Yeah, that's exactly right. He just appears and he's like, "I'm here."
Yeah.
And I think everyone gets a bit worried about it. I would if I was them.
I mean, how impressive is it? I'm interested to get your take on this, Ava, because I mean, obviously Max has had a few teammates over the last few years. The only thing that's common about those teammates is that they can't get enough out of that Red Bull.
Yeah,
is Max that good a driver, or are they just gearing the car to him?
I think the car is a bit geared to Max, obviously, because they're his number one driver, and if he can win in it, the teammate obviously needs to adapt to win in that car. That's how I've always been taught coming through the ranks. If someone's fast and that's the way the go-kart or the car is, learn to drive it like that. But I think he also has a mental game with the teammates. I think he just always seems to just shut them down, and he's the number one. But I don't know, what he does is unreal on and off track. I think
he's unbelievable. I can't think of a team where the disparity between the first driver and the second is so big. I mean, it says to me, it just says so much about how good a driver he is, that his teammates he's always on the front row. And they're in like 12th and 13th.
But even with like Leclerc and Hamilton this year, you wouldn't have expected Hamilton to be where he is. And you don't know whether that's a mental game or Leclerc is really just that good and out driving that car massively. So, I mean, Verstappen has proven time and time again that he is just that good. And the teammates, I think, just crumble a little bit. I mean, I think everyone does. If your teammate is there and you're where you are, you're going to start stressing because your drive is on the line. They're going to try and find someone else that can try and stick it up with him. So I think there is quite a big mental side of that in that team. I think some drivers turn around and think that it's kind of you go into Max's team and it's kind of career suicide in a way because you just hope, unless you're that good, but I don't think anyone right now is going to bring it with him. He's
had great teammates over the years. I mean, Daniel Ricciardo, Sergio Perez. I mean, we saw obviously Liam Lawson. I don't think we saw the best of Liam in that car.
No,
personally,
definitely not.
I
don't think so.
And then even Yuki. These are all top drivers, really. And
they've made it to Formula One, and no one can do it. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. Maybe they'll put someone new in there next year. Who knows?
But what do you think it would mean for Australia to have a Formula One World Drivers' Champion come Sunday evening?
I think they will parade around the streets like when Argentina wins a football or something. I feel like something like that would happen. I don't know. The amount of people that I've seen getting into Formula One just because of it. Yeah, I think it's going to be a big celebration.
Definitely. So what's his tactics, do you think, that he needs to put in place for the last race? If he needs to take it out?
I mean, I don't think McLaren will like it, but I think just if he's given team orders, just ignore them and go. Wow. That's what I would do. If there's a F1 World Championship on the line and you're told to pull over to let someone else win, I'd go stuff this and just keep going.
I can't imagine any Formula One driver doing that in that situation.
You sound like a true Spartan then.
Yeah, that's right.
Good for you.
I mean, if it's a different circumstance and you're fifth and he's got to win let's say Lando's got to win and you're in fifth, then okay, you're going to take team orders. But if you're both fighting for P1, I'm hoping the team's saying, you know what, you guys go out and race this weekend and let the best man win,
What's Oscar's style? Is he aggressive? How would you describe his driving style?
To me, he's always just been very kind of ice, but cool, calm and collected. But lately, I don't know, it just seems like he's obviously there's a world championship on the line and there's stuff going on behind the scenes that no one really knows full clarity of what's going on. But I think he's quite calm. He can be aggressive when he needs to be, but he just seems like he's a consistent, calm driver that just can get the job done.
Yeah. You touched on the mental battle as well. How would Oscar be, or how would any driver be feeling when, say, the team lets you down as opposed to your skill set?
Question.
It does. That's something that gets a bit annoying, I think, is when when it's out of your hands. There is a point where it's just like, well, I did the best that I could with what I was given, but then when it's happening in different circumstances, but it's kind of the same thing, then I think he'd be a bit annoyed. And I think in his interviews you can see that he is quite frustrated in the situation.
He sounded gutted because it's happened 2 races in a row now.
Yeah.
He's done nothing wrong. And
I think you just kind of second guess the team's decisions at that point. Like, you kind of lose that little bit of trust. But then again, you're in a Formula One team. You've got to do what's told, and it's a hard circumstance to be in because you wouldn't know what to do until you're there.
Is there a penalty? So say he's in the lead and McLaren say, hey, you got to pull back, let Lando take over so he can win the championship, and he doesn't. What would happen? Is it that level? Is it written in the contract? I'm just curious. More of a curiosity question.
I don't think that's ever written into a contract.
Yeah.
It may be, and we don't know about it, but I would not sign that paper.
Yeah, because if the team says, hey, you got to pull up, and you don't, you ignore team protocol. Like, I just think of as pilots or, any other industry, if they say the towers tells you something, you got to actually listen. But
well, I think if, say, he didn't, and it was, I think after the race, inside the team, probably in their truck or something, there'd be an argument, but I don't think it would jeopardize his race. Yeah. And if it did because of the team, then that's not right.
Yeah. I guess it'd be like a football team, maybe. Tom, what do you reckon? The coach tells you to do something, you ignore him, but it comes off. Don't know. Very interesting. But look, I would find it the way, because I've been following it recently, and after what's happened, mentally, he'd be distraught, really. Like, he'd be
I'm glad I've converted you. I'm glad you're on board with this.
I was right into it. And, I think it was the PlayStation.
Was it?
It got me in the 90s. I was right into it. And then it dripped. I don't know why it dripped. Ricardo came in. We had a couple of Aussies in there. Who's his manager? Who's Piastri's manager?
Is it Mark?
Yeah, Mark Webber. Yeah, so we've had a few in there, but look, if he can pull this off, amazing.
It's going to be sick.
Maybe.
So have you actually driven on Formula One tracks? Like, have you done Monaco by any chance, or all these other F1 tracks?
We've been to Monaco. We've driven on road trips. We've been through Monaco, and obviously,
but you haven't actually
for about
raced.
20 minutes. No, definitely
not. But you've raced on other F1 tracks.
Yeah, Zandvoort, Miami this year.
Fantastic.
Jeddah, China, Shanghai, Montreal. I missed the last 2, which was Singapore and Vegas.
Okay.
Which I was looking forward to, but
sure,
it's what it is.
And do you have a favourite at all?
I like Miami. A lot of people are looking at me like funny because they don't like Miami, but I love Miami. I love the circuit. Yeah. You go back through the chicane, and it's kind of up and down and into a tight onto the back straight. Yeah, Miami was definitely my favorite. In the dry, not in the wet.
Okay, fair enough.
So who are the drivers that you've looked up to over the years? I mean, there's obviously more than Formula One as well. But let's start with Formula One drivers. Who are the ones that you were inspired by?
Growing up, it was Max. Ayrton Senna a bit because my mum was obsessed with Ayrton Senna, so I kind of just looked up to him too. But before I got up into the Formula, like cars, and got older, like say 14, I started looking at F1 drivers. Before that, it was just my mum because obviously she raced, she was a female in the sport. So I just looked up to her the whole way through.
How rare was that at the time? I mean, we're not talking about that long ago, really, but how rare was it, and how have things moved on, I guess, since then, for the better?
I haven't met another family that got into the sport because of their mum.
Yeah.
and not the father not being a driver. I think, you've got Garth Tander and Leanne Farrier who their kids got into the sport and both their parents were drivers. But for me, it was just my mum. So I think I haven't met anyone in that kind of circumstance.
What about outside of Formula One? Are there any drivers that that you've been interested in, or any other?
Jamie Chadwick, definitely. Outside of motorsport, I like Serena Williams. Just like her mental side and how she deals with things and all that type of stuff. But yeah, Jamie Chadwick, Serena Williams, they're kind of the two female role models. Obviously, Jamie being, I think she's done more than any other female has done in the sport so far. So, she went to IndyCar, she did all that. So yeah, definitely her.
Particularly over the last sort of 10 years, we've seen the growth of women's sport in, whether it's football or, in the NRLW, the AFL and whatnot. I mean, can you conceive of it? You're much younger than us, but can you conceive of a time where something like this wasn't available to you, like to be effectively like a professional athlete to some degree? Because these things didn't exist.
Growing up, coming through karting, especially in Australia, I was the only female on the grid out of 80 boys.
Wow.
Yeah. So you didn't see any girls in F4. You didn't see any girls in F3, none in F2. Like for me, there was nothing to kind of look up to. And I think now F1 Academy being created, it's giving now those girls that were in my position at 10, 7 years old to a goal to kind of reach to be able to continue through the sport. Because you look back when I was 10 or something, and I'm just looking at the next category. I wasn't really looking at the future, but now these girls are like, F1 Academy, if we win that championship, then we can continue into GB3 or F3, whatever the prize is going to be further on down the year. Like, it gives them a kind of some sort of pathway to know that there is a way through for them throughout the sport.
And I mean, obviously we've spoken a lot about how, a lot of things need to align here. Sponsorship, time on track, all of these things. I mean, all things being equal, what do you really think you're capable of when it comes to being in this sport and what you can do? What does success
I think
look
you've
like?
got to believe that you can do anything, because if you don't, then you won't do anything. I think it's one of those sports that you have to think that you're the best and you can do anything. And if you don't, then you're not going to succeed. Like, you know what I mean? So I think I'm capable of getting there, capable of driving, capable of doing everything that I possibly can to get there. But there are circumstances where, you don't have the budget and you don't have the financial backing to be able to do what you can do. So I think for me, that's the thing that's holding us back. Formula One's everyone's kid's dream, I think.
Yeah.
Like, kids, I'm not a kid anymore, but...
Not for the last few weeks, anyway.
Yeah, not for the last few weeks. Formula One is obviously everyone's dream. If you can get to Formula One, you've reached the pinnacle. But then you can be a professional race car driver, to race, even if it's a tin top GT, you go to IndyCar in the US. If I'm racing something at a professional level and it's my job, then, that's the dream.
Amazing.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I think you're going to kick ass. I can tell already, Tom. What do you reckon?
Mate, we've been following what Aiva's been doing for a little while now. Just so proud of the fact that you're doing what you're doing. We're proud of the fact that your brother's doing what he's doing as well. I mean, we haven't even had a chance to talk really about what he's doing there. We'll have to do another one with both of you together once you're
definitely.
Once you're both in F1 together.
And in your outfit as well with
First brother
Talk
sister
logo.
duo.
First brother sister duo. Yeah, can you imagine that? Yeah. One of the big teams. Every Greek will be behind that.
Yes, hopefully.
And every Australian and Italian.
Oh, for sure. Sicilians, mate, we'll all be there. So what's the plan now? So the season's ended now. So so 2026, what's happening next year?
Silly season starting.
Yeah, we call this silly season. Obviously you got to, as a driver's perspective, it's not really off season. We kind of call this as soon as the season ends, it's pre-season. We don't really have an off season. So we go straight back training, straight back getting in. You got to kind of get ready for the options that are going to may occur. You know, if you're going up in a category, go down in a category. It just kind of changes for us. But yeah, it's silly season. You know, you could have a seat here and a seat there, and then you got to pick a choice. So everything's up in the air, whether that's GTs, F1 Academy. We don't know what it is going to be. But yeah, we'll find out hopefully soon. But
yeah, definitely.
sometime, I think I found out in January last year. So, you know, it can be quite late in the season, but yeah, we'll see.
Okay, so you could be like an F3, F4, which means you could be in a different team, different circuit, or they're all roughly the same circuit.
They're all kind of around. Circuit. Yeah, so yeah, we'll see. It just kind of jumps. Teams jump. Sponsors of the teams jump. You know, no one knows what they're doing until it hits after Christmas. So we'll find out. But sure I will be driving something.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be multiple seats opening up pretty soon, and we'll mate, wherever you are, we're going to be following very closely, aren't we?
Definitely, 100%.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Well, Aiva, we've been so proud to have you on this show. Again, to all of our listeners, make sure you're following Aiva, and if you can help out with sponsorship or whatever, you know, whatever you can do to help get Aiva closer to where she needs to be, mate, get in contact with us, get in contact with Aiva via her socials or just get in touch somehow, right? Let's get it to the top. Let's get it F1. Yeah.
Definitely. Sounds good.
Definitely.
So I was going to say, Tom, we should head down to Melbourne. What do you reckon?
Oh, mate,
I will be at the Grand Prix though this year at Melbourne. So.
Well, we might have to join you, I reckon.
Yeah, definitely. Bring the Ouzo, we go watch the Grand Prix.
Oh, that is a great idea. Walk down the pit lane with a bottle of Ouzo. I'm sure we can get away with that.
Mate, we'll get you an Ouzo Talk hat. You're right.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
No, good stuff. Look, great to meet you. Look, fantastic. Very mature beyond your age. Actually, I understand you recently got your driver's license.
I'm getting it on Thursday. Well, hopefully I pass the test.
Oh, you're doing a test and you're getting it on Thursday.
Yeah, I finished a driving lesson today. So.
Okay, perfect.
How good's that?
Yeah.
And we're talking off air because you needed to do a certain amount of hours, but going around on a racetrack didn't count, you said.
No, I wish it did because, you know, I would have liked to get those hours a bit easier than what actually happened. But the hours are there and that's all that matters.
Classic.
Oh, dear.
Fantastic.
Well, awesome. Good luck with your driving test. I mean, that's so funny saying that to someone who's a racing driver, but good luck on that. Don't make the bloke throw up, you know, be kind in the corners.
I got to follow the rules. Otherwise we need this driving license.
That's right.
Classic.
Fantastic. Well, Aiva, thank you so much for joining us on Ouzo Talk, and all the very best. We'll be following you very closely, as I said. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you, Aiva.
All right,
awesome.
So, guys, ouzotalk@outlook.com is the email. Follow us on social media at Ouzo Talk and at Ouzo_talk on Instagram. Also on YouTube, Nika Thanasiou, Aiva Anagnostiadis. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Ouzo Talk is produced, written and presented by Tom Skolarikas and Nika Thanasiou. Our theme music is written and played by Peter Apostolidis, with additional music from George Kalapidis and Bouzouki legend Thanasis Polykadriotis.
Ακολουθήστε μας στο Soundees, στο Spotify, στο Apple Podcasts και στο Google Podcasts.